Okay, to illustrate the first question, would you trust this content in this article? What I've done a search in Google on the term parenting tips, and these are ads up here. But if we go down, I chose a couple of sites already, and I picked parenting.com, the #1 search result, and a couple of others here, and you can see it's got a page rank 7, so it's got quite a lot of authority. I just went through a few of these because I wanted to try and show you what I believe. This is how Google will look at quality sites and trusted sites. So I thought this is a great topic to start with because essentially I know from personal experience there's a lot of sites out there created by people who scrape articles and for the purpose of building high quality sites, what they believe is high quality sites with content they've sourced from other places on the internet, and they're actually not a qualified person or persons to give advice on the topic of parenting. So the first site I had a look at was the top one, and that's parenting.com. And clearly you can see that this is a quality website. Okay, it's owned by the publishers of the Parenting magazine. Yes, it has some advertising on it, which you'll find it's quite common these days. But you can see it's not a simple slapdash spammy site that's been put up by a person purely for the purpose of trying to raise money or earn money on selling advertising such as your AdSense or CPA offers. And as we scroll through, we can see it has quite a bit of content on it. And I believe when Google would come to a site like this, it would see that it has a history and it has a number of quality content published here. It's clearly stating down here who the owner of the website is. So it's parenting.com network. So they're an authoritative body within themselves, and they're not going to risk publishing cheap, crappy content for the purpose of trying to get rankings to sell advertising, let's say. So this would be an example of a quality site and providing quality content. Now the next one I had a look at is this one here, familydoctor.org. Not quite as impressive as a website design. As you can see, they've got advertising up there, and clearly they've got a nice bit of space here for advertising here as well. But you'll find that I find it's quite messy. It's not easy to find detailed information. For example, what is normal behavior for a child? I click that and it just goes straight to that there, and that's it. That's all we get, that information there, and then it's got a return to top. It then promotes here about advertising on the page. It's got a healthcare.org banner there, which I'm assuming it's a paid advertising space. But if I go down to the bottom here, it says here, source written by familydoctor.org editorial staff. So for mine, who are these people? Who are the editorial staff? It says they're an American, they have the American Academy of Family Physicians. Alright, well let's check this out and go there.
American Academy.
And from a Google perspective, this would give this site a certain grade of quality and authority for the fact that it's stated here who the web team is, it's listed names and their qualifications. So this is one, it's got the whole team here who's been writing and associated with this website, so it does give it credibility. So as far as their question goes, would you trust this content? Well, after having a look at these credentials, and their credentials you can quite simply search for as well through a database, but quite at first value, I don't like the look of the site. It doesn't look like a site for me that's built by a professional team of advisors, doctors, for example. I would expect something a little bit, well, more better design and easier to navigate, better quality content. But saying that, it does have credibility because of the fact that they've listed these people here and they've gone to some effort to do that. If I go over to this particular one, this is another one in that list of search results, and instantly I look at this and I think, this is a pretty basic website set up by someone who's trying to sell some advertising, but I can't actually see any advertising on here. So I guess from a Google perspective, instantly, if they're not trying to sell advertising, maybe there is some credibility to this content. And down the bottom you'll see it has an educational website sponsored by the health group. So they could possibly actually be sponsored by this health group, or in fact, they're being paid to put this logo here, but there's no hyperlink on this logo here. So I can't actually click and go to that particular health group and see who they are. But they do have a call toll-free number here. So that does give it some credibility, definitely, as to what quality the content is on this site. Although the site doesn't look, great as far as design goes, it just looks like a Joomla type template that has been popped up and put some content on it. But it does have a toll-free number, so from that point of view, I would tend to believe the content that is on this site initially, because you're not going to put up a number for a toll-free call if you're just a spammy type of site. Okay, so if I go to some other articles for parents, you see that they've basically article search, and it comes up with these articles here. Not terribly attractive as far as design and layout go, and I can't seem to find an author. Here it is here. So by Hugh C. McBride, that is there, and for mine it should have some credentials after his name. If I go over to the blog, the other thing I like to look at is the frequency, and I'm sure Google does too. Now, as you can see, the last post on this blog was January the 12th, 2011. So today it's the 13th of June 2011, and they haven't made a post since. So from Google's point of view, I would imagine that would be one particular part of their algorithm that they would use to look at the frequency of posting. I don't know 100% if that's the case, because they don't tell us exactly the details of what their algorithm is, but I would have to assume that that will be one of the parameters that they would use to assess the quality of a site, the authority of a site, when they're looking at ranking them. And then I go over to this particular site here. Instantly, I think if I refresh this, we'll get a pop-up of some sort. No? Okay, well, when I first opened this site, there was a pop-up here asking me to subscribe to the newsletter. Now, instantly, I look at this site, and I personally don't believe that this site would have any credible content on it with regards to parenting tips. It looks cheap. Instantly, I can see they've got they've got advertising up here, free parenting newsletter. So they've got an opt-in here, and it's clear they're trying to build a list. And 5 tips for solving trust issues in a relationship. Okay, I don't know if that's specifically related to parenting, but anyway, got a picture of a dog. And then the next article here is the truth about abs book review, which has completely nothing to do with parenting. And if you have a look here at the link, it's in fact an affiliate link to a ClickBank product. And if you look down the bottom left of the screen, you can see that URL. So Google would be all over this stuff, and this will be one site they would not class as a site that you can trust the content of, and that will be something that goes against this site as far as its ranking goes. Its current toolbar ranking is a PageRank 3, whereas if we go to the high quality site, which is parenting.com, you'll see that has a PageRank of 7. So it holds greater authority, and I'm part of that authority because it's getting high quality backlinks from authoritative sites as well. Whereas this particular site here looks pretty dodgy. It has no real clear credentials, featured in star, whatever that is, and it's just about, it's got things about losing weight. So I think it's purely developed, this site, for the purpose of selling advertising. And here we go here, look, not that I've got anything against Google Ads. I think they're a great way to generate some income and cover costs of running a website, for sure. But in this particular case, it's clear to me, and it would be clear to Google, that this is not a site you could trust or believe the content in. Okay, it looks like it's probably been scraped from some other site or some articles on eZine articles. And another way you could check that, which I won't do now, but you could go to copyscape.com, put the URL in, and check if this is actually original content. And that's again something that Google would be doing. So I just wanted to take you through that just quickly, and hopefully that helps you in looking at your own site. So I strongly advise you to actually go and type a search term that relates to your business in the search here at Google, and have a look at the sites that are coming up at the top. Now, if currently you're finding that you do have a high quality site with high quality content, and there are sites ranking above you that are quite spammy, sites, for example, like this particular site here, and you may have a site that's somewhere along the lines of this quality, or even this quality, for example, but the lower quality site is getting a higher search engine listing, then you may find that over some time, as they roll out this new algorithm change, that those sites will drop. And knowing this particular niche already from research in the past, that already has seemed to have taken place within Google. The Panda algorithm is clearly sorting through the high quality sites and the low quality sites, and removing the crappy ones from the higher positions. So I'll leave that one there, and then in the next video we'll cover the next question. Again, if you've got any questions about this, please just leave a comment or drop me a line.